And he's positioning it as, well, I guess you're not attracted to me. I guess this is not going to work. And it was done. Guys, what? Like that escalated. Okay, guys, we're back. Is it just me or does it feel like time flew by real quick? I am not complaining though, guys. Episodes 7 to 9 of Love is Blind is out. I woke up at the crack of dawn this morning, hence why I've got some coffee with me to get me through this video. But I will be recapping in this video. So if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, if you want to go back and watch my other videos first, I've done like episodes 1 through to 6. Head back. If you want to start here, no judgment. And as always, guys, I will be looking at my phone for my notes. So let's get into it. So we start the episode and we see Chelsea and Jimmy, and he apologizes to her, and more sincerely this time. And then we see Ken and Brittany, and they're obviously talking about the night they just had, and he lets her know he did have a conversation with AD about, you know, raising a child and him being black and her being white. And in that moment, if I'm honest, there was a bit of defensiveness from Brittany, it felt like, but I will say it felt like she checked herself in that moment and was just, you know, seeing all sides to everything. And she said something like, I've dealt with this before. So I was like, okay, has she dated black guys before? She later on goes on to confirm that she has. And yeah, he's basically saying we're about to have a lot of issues. That's what he's saying. So I'm really intrigued to see what it's like when we meet his people, as he was referring to them. But spoiler alert, we don't. Because they leave the experiment, or it would seem so. We'll see what happens in the weeks to come, but yeah, we'll get into that a bit later. So we see Laura and Jeremy. Laura's like, Jeremy iced her out when they got home. He slept on the couch. And she tells him it was triggering because past relationship, her partner would do something embarrassing. Sorry, I can't stop laughing. I think it's because normally when someone brings up, okay, you did this or you did that and it was triggering because of a past relationship, you don't expect to hear that the thing that they did was embarrass them. But yep, that's what Jeremy did. And she's like to him basically, in the future, don't repeat what I say. How about in the future, don't talk about your husband flipping another woman's breast? Just a thought. He apologizes for giving her silent treatment, and she's like, she doesn't know if she sees them getting married. The theme I'm seeing with her is no accountability. Like, it was all on him. I don't know why he thought it was wise to say it, but accountability on her part as well. She played a part in it too. They get talking about like where they rank as a couple, priorities. And she's like, they're the top. And I'm like, really? But also, it's anyone's game right now. Looking at all these couples, I don't know, comment below, guys. Who would you say is the top couple? Who do you see making it? But we'll get into that in a bit. We see Amy and Johnny. They seem to be going from strength to strength. She says, you know, everything is perfect, and she's nervous. They're nervous, like, what's going to go wrong? And I'm like, yeah, this is foreshadowing. There's going to be something. We see that their main issue is when it comes to having kids. So, again, this is going to be a bit all over the place. But I think there was a pool party or a beach party or something. And Johnny was speaking with Laura about the fact they hadn't had sex yet. And his reasonings were because she wasn't on birth control. And in my head, I'm thinking, you could always use protection. But so we see in a conversation between Amy and Johnny, he's letting her know, if we're going to have sex, you need to use protection. I don't want us to have any kids in the next year or so. I see it a lot further down the line. I want to be financially free when we have kids. I want to be ready. And I respect that. And I rate that he set his intentions. He's very strict. Yeah, he's very strict about her taking, you know, the pill, contraceptive pill, whatever. And then she also mentioned, she said he could get a vasectomy. There's a lot going on there. And when they're really breaking down their timelines, it doesn't seem like they're aligned. Because she's like, if I get pregnant next year, I think we could do it. And he's kind of like, yeah, no. Which means I think he would be leading down the line of, terminating the pregnancy, basically. So that's them, and that's their main issue. We're definitely going to see, I'll just wrap them up because there's not that much on them as usual. We see them meet Johnny's sisters. They seem to really like Amy and think they're really well suited. They have a lot of energy. To be fair, I wouldn't mind if those were my sister-in-laws, because they seem very happy about her and supportive. So, give you a bit of a boost, and, they're like, we like her, da, 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 da. So, stamp of approval from the sisters, but see that going downhill. So we see Brittany and Ken, they're on a boat talking about how happy they are. But guys, isn't it, was that awkward? Very awkward. Do you know what? Let's just talk about Ken and Brittany now. And if I miss out anything, we'll get onto it. But yeah, it wasn't given that they seemed very happy. They were far apart. They get speaking about physical touch, and she's saying, do you like physical touch? And he's like, yeah, I love it. I love when you touch me. And she's like, oh, okay, I would want some more too. And he's like, really? I wouldn't have thought. And he's in... It was so awkward. But yeah, they lie back on the boat together. He puts his arm around her, but it's that awkward, lift up. But the music they use makes it so much awkward. Because guys, come on, we've all been there, right? You're like cozying up together in bed, and you might be like, oh yeah, lift your arm there. Like, it's not movie perfect flowing, but the music is everything. Sound is everything. Also, apologies for the sound on this video. They made that moment so bad. So yeah, we see that, but it seems like things are going to be okay. So then we obviously see them back at their apartment. And again, it's just very awkward. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed the whole bit. When they get back to the apartment that Love is Blind has given them in North Carolina. Also, shout out to everybody in the comments before. I've been enjoying speaking with you guys over the week, which is why I feel like the time flew by for this new episode so quick. But I was obviously asking, I'm seeing a lot of religion within this series. Where is it based? Is it a religious town? Especially with Ken and Brittany, and you all obviously commented and let me know it was in North Carolina. So when they arrived back, I said, my people already let me know. But yeah, so they get to the apartment. Brittany is unpacking everything. She's like, are we gonna order, or do you want me to cook? He's like, cook. And there's two sides, okay? I've got to the initial, get off your butt and help her. And what if she wants to order? Why are you making her cook? But also, this is why it's so important. I do believe the conversations you have initially with someone when dating, getting to know them, don't set expectations you don't want to keep up with. And in the initial conversations in the pod, she was like, she did say she wants a traditional man. It seemed like they were equally yoked on that. He's the man of the house. She wants to be a nurturer. They both come from a church background. So in his head, he probably thought, right, this is exactly how it's going to go down. Of course, we've evolved as time has gone on, and that's not how I'm trying to have my household run. I'll tell you that for free. But so I feel like Brittany probably lays somewhere in the middle of that, whereas he's very much on the further end. So, but yeah, so what I'm saying is obviously the initial conversation maybe led him to believe that is how their life is going to go. No, get up and help her. Like, come on, you can be the head of the house and still help around. But yeah, their initial conversations, I think that's why he is the way he is. But also Brittany, by the way, Brittany had her shoes on in the house. Comment below and let me know, guys. Do you walk around your house with your shoes on? Because that was irking me every time I saw it. But maybe they're her indoor shoes? I don't know. So yeah, so we saw that part too. And then obviously fast forward now, and they're having a conversation, and she's saying, I don't feel like you initiate again. It's coming up again, like the lack of affection. And I saw every time Brittany brought up an issue, he was like, well, that's an issue on your end. It's not an issue for me. So maybe it's a you thing. And in theory, in black and white, that makes sense. And even she would like nod along like, yeah, okay. But no, if your partner brings up an issue within a relationship that they're feeling, even if they're the only one that's feeling it, you are now together. So it's your issue and you're going to work out how you sort that out. So I didn't like how he approached that. But that was the way it was all the way through. And then he's like, she was like, you woke me up late. And he's like, it's only one night that I came back late. Because any issue she brought up, he's like, it was one time. Get over it, basically. Because what else did she bring up? She brought up something else that he did. Oh, yes, he was grumpy in the morning. She turned over. She was smiling. Good morning. I'm also a morning person. Most people I know are not. But yeah, so she was smiling. Good morning. He just was grumpy and rolled over. She brought that up. He said it was one time. Get over it. So yeah, it feels like he's not willing to speak more about these issues or makes it just a her thing. And I think that is what is causing her to feel a lack of intimacy with him, which she brought up, and a lack of crave. And he's positioning it as, well, I guess you're not attracted to me. I guess this is not going to work. And it was done. Guys, what? Like that escalated. I thought maybe they would speak more and see how they go, but he was like, yeah, I guess we should go. And we can only take the show for what they show us. But I feel like some of it has to be edited. Like when she was cleaning the house, asked him a question and he was just on his phone. Surely he answered it, then went on his phone, but they cut that bit out. Even there, when they had their conversation and ended things, and then he just went straight on his phone after ending things. Surely there was something in the middle, like, are you going to be okay? Do you want me to give you your space? And she says, yeah. But if that's not the case, how it went down, they end things. He calls his boy. He's like, yeah, I'm about to get out of here. Where you at? Let's meet up. What? Yeah. But like I said, guys, when they first met, I sensed this. And I feel like a lot of people felt like their first meet was quite cute. But I saw, yes, they kissed and there was a bit of physical touch, but it was given very much like friend vibes. Like he was sat hands to himself unless they hugged, and it felt like she was wanting more of the other. But yeah, that's Ken and Brittany. Okay, so now let's talk about Clay and AD. So we see them. She looks like she's getting the ick with how he's eating. But that passes. They're talking about they're going to be an iconic couple. And then Clay brings up he's nervous and he doesn't want to let her down. And it just goes downhill after that. AD, I'm going to read what I said. AD isn't happy. And I don't think it's wrong what he's saying. It could be taken as like he just wants to do his best. He's just not wording it properly. And later on we see them have a similar conversation, but he voices how he feels way better. I can imagine someone saying to you, I'm nervous, I'm not going to be able to give you what you want. If you're already worried about the prospects of, is this going to work? Is this going to lead to marriage? Hearing that can worry you and set you off. So they have that moment. Also, by the way, AD with no lashes, stunning. A thought. So also when they were at the beach, we saw Jeremy apologize to AD, thank God. We also see him bringing up he's been thinking about Sarah. These guys, now I get it, because yes, they're engaged, but they've only known each other for a few days and they did build strong connections with these other people. It's a situation I've never been in. But commit to the experiment a bit. It feels like everybody is trying to run back to the other people. They're following each other on socials straight away. Crazy. Anyway, he's been thinking about, her name's gone out of my head, Sarah Ann. He's been thinking about Sarah Ann, and he's telling Amy this. Is Amy not as close with the girls? Why did he feel so safe to tell her and she won't report that back to Laura? Amy and Johnny, another thing about them, she does say her biggest issue is that in the past she's overshared with her parents about her relationship and their opinion really matters, and if she doesn't have her dad's blessing, it's going to be an issue. Again, I feel like it's foreshadowing. We're going to see some sort of issue with the parents, I'm thinking. But yeah, Jeremy again, he's saying, things couldn't be better with him and Laura, but you want to meet Sarah. It's not adding up. But also, okay guys, no judgment here. Is it just me? I hope I'm not alone. Or is Jeremy getting cuter with each episode that goes by? Or is it the hat? Let me tell you something. A hat can do a lot for a guy. But I'll leave that out there. Feel free to comment below. If not, pretend I never said anything. So yeah, as I was saying, we see Clay express himself better with AD in regards to why he's worried, and he's talking about his dad and the infidelity he saw growing up. His dad would take him on infidelity trips, which is wild. I can't even begin to imagine what that can do to someone. Yeah, that, man, or women, if you're doing that too, like, really think about what that can do to your children later down the line, because, yeah. So in episode 8, we go to Jimmy's apartment and Chelsea's apartment. Chelsea has a roommate, and Jimmy's like, yeah, no, I cannot live with a roommate. Rude. If I was a roommate watching, I was really nice to you, but clearly he was not a fan of her energy. And then we also go to Jimmy's studio apartment, and Chelsea's like, yeah, basically Chelsea's like, we're moving in here. This is where it's at. And I guess Jimmy gets what he wants. Obviously, first they're going to be staying in the place that Love is Blind has given them. Her friends come round. Jimmy is up working. She runs over to her friends, and she does that same run she did when she saw Jimmy. What did she call it? Tyrannosaurus Rex run. I thought it was because of her dress, but maybe that's how she runs. So yeah, she's speaking with her friends, and that's when we find out Jimmy has seen what Jessica looks like. She lets her friends know. He saw a picture of her, and now she feels like he's acting different with her, basically. He's switched up. He hasn't kissed her all day. And she also lets her friends know that everybody, basically, wanted Jimmy, which I don't recall seeing, unless they left it out of the edit. I don't recall seeing that. But yeah, according to her, everybody wanted Jimmy, which feeds into the idea I was saying before of she likes to feel like she was chosen by someone who was wanted by others. I don't know if that's insecurities coming up into play or what. So yeah, Jimmy comes down to join them, and she's telling them about the moment Jimmy told her he loved her, and she's like, he sounded so sure. And I was like, no, you know who sounded sure? Trevor. Because he wasn't contemplating another woman, and now looking at her Instagram, sending her friend requests, and then 8 hours after you got your phone. Jimmy. Anyway, so after Chelsea's friends have left, she's asking Jimmy, like, are you wondering, would life be better if you were with Jessica? It's definitely rattled her that he's seen her picture. She's saying, you know, she's not happy with how he says, I love you. She feels like she's not getting enough from him. And she's just like, probably at him, like, give me more, tell me more. And he says, okay, I'll be honest, I feel like you're clingy. And she goes off. She's like, that's effing rude. I feel like shit. And he's like, I'm just telling you how I feel. And this is something I'm very passionate about. I don't believe in going off on someone for telling you how they feel. Like, your feelings are your feelings are your feelings. And I always say this. You should not be made to feel bad because of how you feel. Especially if you're in a relationship with someone and you're trying to express that this might be a bit too clingy for me. Okay, so what, you just suppress it and keep it going and then eventually go off the person? That's not good either, but, you know, it's later resolved. But anyway, she feels like he's causing issues because he saw what Jessica looks like. And as much as in this moment it does seem like she's spiraling, well, no, she is. I think there is some truth in what she's saying as well. The fact he sent her request 8 hours after, and then he says he wants a break from sex, which is crazy. Yeah, I'd fall to the floor. If as much as I said, your feelings are your feelings are your feelings, it will still hurt if the guy you're engaged to is like, you're too clingy and I don't want sex. So you hate me? So yeah, then we hear Sarah Ann DM Jeremy. Laura lets her family know about this as well. But yeah, she sent him this long paragraph and he just liked it. But the good thing is, he showed it to her. But we hear this because Laura meets up with Jessica. And that's where we hear about Jimmy obviously sending her a friend request and then taking it back. And she's basically saying she still has feelings for him. And I guess she kind of saw what he looked like. and she wouldn't have minded. She would have still continued, and she's trying to like prod, like, are they happy? Do you think he still cares? Da, 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 da. Interesting. And also she lets it be known that I don't know how. So if she said, okay, so she said she knows what all his exes look like and they look like her. So clearly, if she's seen what his exes look like, she knows exactly what Jimmy looks like. Interesting. But yeah, obviously, so Chelsea and Jimmy, they get into a big argument after he makes the comment of not wanting to have sex. And she's like, she wants to leave. He ends up leaving. And so the following morning, she's like, she's not happy that he left. And he's like, you said you were going to leave. And so she's like, if something's bothering you, I do want to know, but you need to work on your delivery. And I will work on not being so sensitive, which in theory is great. And they will thrive and succeed. Are they going to follow through on these instructions? I don't know. Comment below what you think, though. But yeah, as I said, Laura and Jeremy with her parents and her sister, like she's obviously telling them about the fact Sarah Ann message, and the fact that she's speaking about this with her family is wild to me, with him there as well. Openness, I guess, but they seem worried and they're trying to tell her, yo, chill, he's not that bad, like stop getting on to him about his shirts and let him be him and who he is and everything. And I guess they're trying to help. Speaking of trying to help, AD and Clay go to see his mum and sister. Okay, anybody else have an issue with this? When they sit down, AD's like she's feeling cold. Clay sat there like, he's got this big jumper, and his mum goes to give AD her shawl. Okay, fair enough, maybe Clay didn't think to give her the jumper, but the minute you see your mum going to keep your woman like warm, would you not think, oh, let me be the one to do it? But also, if I was AD, I'd be like, oh, that's so nice of the mum, she must like me. So that would be a nice feeling. But Clay, come on. But she's obviously giving them advice because they're talking about their issues with Clay's work schedule and him coming home late or not coming home for a few days. And she gives some good non-biased advice for the both of them, which again, if they take it on board, great. Are they going to? I don't see it. Also, what does Clay do? Because we hear he's an entrepreneur, he owns loads of businesses, or he has businesses, and he does a 9 to 5 and 9 to 9 or that's their schedules, I can't remember. But it's like, oh, I had meetings today, but yeah, we didn't actually hear him say what his job was, whereas with AD we hear she's a realtor and she manages a club. But hey, Clay, what do you do? But also there was a moment where they were sat speaking with the mum and the sister, and he's talking about AD as if she's not there, and he's like, she doesn't get it, she's not working. I guess they're talking about him coming home late, and he's saying, she hasn't started back at work yet, but she's right there. And I think that was when the mum jumped in to give advice, but that moment was a bit for me. So Chelsea goes to meet with Jimmy's two girlfriends, and I don't know, she strikes me as a type. She said she was cool with it, but in the beginning, when we get there and I'm thinking about it, I think she's the kind of person that wouldn't be happy with her partner having friends of the opposite sex. And later, she does open up and say some of the men that cheated on her, it was with girls who they said were just their friends. But she says she too has male friends. One of them is her ex, which to me is wild. Her best friend is her ex. I don't believe in being friends with your exes, but I feel like that's a bit of a controversial opinion, and I go back and forth about it with many people I speak to. But I'm interested to know your thoughts. Do you think you could be best friends, with an ex? That's crazy to me. Unless it was an ex when you were like 7 years old or 10. But yeah, it felt a bit like like marking your territory. The fact she was bringing up their sex life to the friends and saying how great it was and all that. But they seemed to like her. But then she made a comment. What did she say again? She was like, basically his friends are now my friends, and I don't believe in that, right? My partner, his friends are his friends. If we end up getting along with each other later down the line and do become friends, great. But it's not an instant thing that your friends become my friends. No, because you may not be as equally yoked in the friendship, if that makes sense. But she's like, from the jump, they're my girls. I was like, okay. And then, lordy, we see Jeremy and Laura. She walks in. Again, the amount of awkward energy between the couples in this episode was crazy. How did it go downhill so quick? I don't know what couple's making it. It may be Jimmy and Chelsea. Anyway, so we see Laura walk in and she sits with Jeremy and she's like, okay, you left at 10, got back at 5. What was up? And he was like, oh, I was going out and then they told me that Sarah was going to be there. So I was going to turn back around. And then I decided, no, I shouldn't let someone stop me from going out and having fun. So I went. And when I saw her, she was upset. This is sounding like some lies. But anyway, she was upset and she just said hi and walked by. So I wanted to check and see if she was okay. And we ended up speaking till 5 a.m. The journey of wondering, should you go, should you not? Let's say that took you to midnight, right? You get there and you see her in half an hour. That's 12:30, right? So for 4.5 hours, you were just there talking. And then, okay. And then she must have been really upset. And what's crazy to me is Laura was so nice to Sarah. So the fact that Sarah is moving like this, I'm like, okay. He then says they were in the parking lot talking for ages. And she's like, no, because I saw your location. And where you were is where Sarah lives. This was really given, Friday night you and your boys went out to eat. Yes, he did. If you know, you know. So we also see that Johnny... These names, there's Johnny, Jeremy, Jimmy, it's too much. And she's saying... Jeremy also followed Sarah and Chelsea is like, Chelsea? God, these names. Laura is like, tell the truth. Were you really in the car park? And he's like, I don't want to talk about this right now. And that's when she's like, I know you were in her area. It's not right, but it's okay. And yeah, that's basically that episode. These couples are a mess. Hot take, I have to say this, right? So in the preview, we're seeing Chelsea. They showed it from before. I don't know if I mentioned this but I was thinking at the minute we saw it. We see Chelsea shouting, saying, you slept with her. From when I saw that, I was like, she's not talking to Jimmy. I know that for a fact. And at first I thought, maybe she's talking to Trevor. Maybe that was delusional, me hoping that Trevor and Jessica get together. Don't think so. I think she's talking to Jeremy and he sleeps with Sarah. Because Sarah is like, because even in Sarah's message, she's like, if you're having doubts, hey, I'm here. Yeah, that was this episode, guys. Again, please comment below your thoughts because I love hearing all your different opinions and everything. Sometimes it changes my mind a bit and I love the conversation we have. Like I said, I was speaking with you guys throughout the week about the show. And it keeps me going until, because now I've got to wait a whole week to find out what happens. Guys, there's a few things I want to know. Who is Chelsea shouting at? Let's take some votes. 2, which couple is going to make it? Which couples are going to spin the block? Do you see any of these people going back to the people they said no to in the pods? Is that it for Kenneth and Brittany? Are they gone? They were the one couple I thought were going to make it for a while. They may be playing us and maybe Jimmy and Chelsea are the ones that make it. Maybe. But as always, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff I'm going to ask you to do, please do. And I'm just rambling now, and I don't really know how to end this. So I'm just gonna